now we're live.
Oh, yeah, no, we're definitely live. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. All right, what's up? I am Paul, one of the co-founders of the temboway, and today I am happily joined by...
Oh, this is when I introduce
This is
myself.
introduce yourself.
My name is Cody Wells. I do a lot of things.
Many things.
Work in healthcare and strategy and marketing. And I also have part of a production company and a podcast. And I do some consulting and mentorship stuff as well. So
Blessed.
I do things, I guess. So
Absolutely.
happy to
Many
be here.
things. So many things.
I'm going to share this online. Can you-
All right, go ahead, share it. I'm just going to share this out really quickly. But for everybody that's going to be joining us later, everybody that's joined us now, let everybody know. So today we are talking about the growth, or rather the fixed versus growth mindset,
Yes.
and what it means, and mainly, are you being the best version of you? Do you want to start off?
So you just threw that on me.
Okay, well, no. So the fixed mindset. So the
I'm
fixed
so
mindset.
informal with my stuff.
So thinking on it, first of all, definition. The fixed mindset, as Cody said earlier when we were chatting, would be somebody just ultimately ending at a place where they're like, I'm only capable of a certain set of skills. You get into a job and you're like, I am being paid for this and I cannot grow past it. You go into a class or you're taking a course or you're in college and you're like, I'm only here to learn such and such a subject and I'm not able to gain anything from anywhere else. Versus a growth mindset is basically going the extra mile. What does that mean? In layman's terms, doing more than is expected. Something simple as, I'll use a college course example. You're studying, who knows what, business, psychology, whatever. And you know what? You're studying business. And as you're taking your business courses, micro, macro, accounting, all that fun stuff, you decide, I want to be a business owner, but one of the things you need to learn as a business owner is what? How to connect with who? People. So that means maybe you got to take a course in psychology, you got to take a communications course, you got to take something that can push you past your, what I'm just going to term as box, your functionality box, okay?
I mean, even when you're introverted and you have to go
Absolutely.
to the cafeteria and sit by someone
Exactly.
versus
Casey.
like, oh, I'm quiet, I'm just going to sit by myself and not do anything.
Casey, what's good? Joseph, what's good? He's getting married in a couple of weeks, by the way.
Awesome.
But so essentially, like even just like Cody said, introverted people, that's one of the things. So let me explain how just with that example. In high school, the notion was I was extroverted, right? That was the notion. But in reality, I think I'm an introverted extrovert. So I had to push myself beyond the normal realm of introvertedness in the way that I intentionally would go and sit with like a random group of people, or I would intentionally try to like interact with people that are way out of my demographic. I mean, I even played football just for the sheer fact that it's something I never done before. Okay, pushing myself out of my comfort zone so that one, I'll grow as a person, two, I'll be able to connect with more people, and three, I just find a way to be the best version of me. So that was then. Now, how would I say I am growing into the growth mindset? Just this past weekend, SSPT Live, being the only non-PT at
there
this
for like
event. Well,
3
he was
hours.
there for like 3 hours. So being the only non-PTs, right? Being able to take what they're teaching, and man, they were teaching some fire. Being able to take what they were teaching, marketing, connecting, just like patient cycles, the one that Jerry Durham talked about, and using that to make myself a better business owner, or using that to make myself a better economist, or using that to make myself a better person, relator. That's a growth mindset, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to add something to that?
You went in like, you could have been like, oh, well, like it's fixed, like this is PT, this isn't even relevant to me, like what I'm going to here to learn.
Exactly.
Like I can't, like I'm not going to get anything from this, or like it's not going to be relevant, or so I'm not going to know how to do anything.
Exactly.
But you went in, you had an open mind, you're like, all right, well, if I put my mind to this and I'm going to pay attention, and I'm focused and I'm willing to think about how to take it to the next level for myself, then since you were open to that, you were able to get a lot more learnings, and then now you can go take and apply those to be the better Paul than you were before this past weekend.
Precisely. So here's a quick thought. I used to be a camp counselor, and I wish Joseph was in here. So I used to be a camp counselor, and I was co-counselors with Joseph, one of the co-founders of the Pre-PT Grind. And as co-counselors, we created this thing called the system. So camp was basically, it's a fantastic name from Kobe Bryant. But camp essentially was this. Parents would bring their kids in the morning, and they'd pick up their kids at 3:30. Our job was to ensure that they stayed alive, healthy, and unbroken between those hours. All we could have done was just, I'm a camp counselor, so I'm just going to teach my classes. I'm going to take them to the pool. I'm going to take them to the gym and expect nothing more, right? Fixed mindset. I'm just going to do the bare minimum, what's expected of me. Sometimes what's expected of you is not even the bare minimum. Makanaka, what's up, man? The bare minimum is, maybe it's just not what's expected of me, but like in a certain set of in that functionality box, there's, subset A through Z, and I need to do A through Z during the day. But comes in the system. So what Joseph and I decided to do is we were going to get these kids to be more than they were. The reasoning behind this, one, is after watching the Kobe, you remember those Kobe system commercials? So he'd be like, success at success at success, right? And we actually took those and we're like, look, Kobe's talking about be more. So there's a scene in those Kobe system commercials where Kanye West is like, but I'm the best, Kobe Bryant. But I've already got all the records. I've already done all this. What else is there to do? And Kobe's like, more. Right? So the black mom was just like, you need to do more. So what we did with these kids was this. We created the system where it was like a how would I describe this without making it sound suspect? It was like a self-correcting method of actions. So, kids, and we were 4th and 5th grade counselors. So I love 4th and 5th graders, but 4th and 5th graders they're tough. They're a lot. They're on top of the world.
They're ambitious.
They're running their own world, and each and every one of them is a leader of their reality. So we've got 20 to 25 of these kids at a time. So 20 to 25 little
balls of energy
who all want their way, and we have to be able to corral them in a way that not only keeps them at a place of stabilization, but at the same time pushes them past that stabilization. So we decided to do this. It became a team effort. So every time a kid would mess up or step out of line or not be able to make it back for the count, the whole team would get punished, right? Punished meaning you'd have to stay in line for an extra 30 seconds before lunch, or you'd have to, do some jumping jacks before we go into class. The good kids hated it. The not so good kids hated it, but for two different reasons. See, the kids that are not misbehaving are thinking, why must I fall into this level of punishment for doing what I'm supposed to do just because somebody else on the team was acting out? Everybody that's acting out just hates it because, consequences. So over time, we noticed, and there was this one kid in particular who, I'm not going to say his name, but today he just wrote him a letter of recommendation to go into high school last summer. But at the time, he went out of his way to rebel. But the way the system was built was that if he messed up, guess what happened to everybody else? We got to stand in line. Over time, see, I think part of like the growth mindset, one is implementing actual systems that will work and that will hold you accountable even when you can't hold yourself accountable. So over time, and camp was 12 weeks. So let's say week 1 through 3, hated it. But you start to notice a little change. Once these kids get into the mindset, because they go through a mindset shift, once they get into this mindset shift of, all right, I need to be on top of my game, and we start implementing rewards. If you're behaving from 8 to 1 with no behavior problems, you get to run the team for the day. Right? So we start like letting kids every single day be in charge. Right? So you come into the day knowing today it's my call. But at first, because the way the system self-corrects, at first these kids will be like, I'm in charge, everybody has to do what I do. But just because that's happening, there's a kid that's going to do what eventually, just by default, have a behavior problem. So now the kid that's in charge is in control of the destiny of everybody else. Part of that leadership that we instilled in him is this: when somebody messes up, guess who has to be the one that chooses the punishment? You, not us, you. But you have to be fair, you have to be just, you have to be direct, and you have to make sure it's something that you yourself could do if need be. Then we noticed they started doing something. As time was going on, they'd all start doing the exercises, right? So the jump squats, the jumping jacks, the push-ups, the wall sits, the standing in line, the counting to 10, right? To the point where the system itself, where it was pushing them to that growth mindset, forced them to be at a place where by the end of the summer, leaders we're more than proud of. By the end of the summer, kids who were just going to the next level, essentially. And that's just because we got them at a place where they could go from that fixed mindset of I'm just here to be here because I can't be home by myself to I'm here with a purpose and I'm freaking killing it. And every single day that I'm here, I'm just going to be the best version of me. That's just an example of transitioning from the fixed to the growth.
Sorry, I just got distracted. It's like
going from the fixed to the growth, right? So that's just a simple example. Do you have any examples? I know where I want to go. Yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking about like in terms of academics. It's like every class. Like I didn't love accounting, but it's like when I was there, it was either like, well, I'm going to fail accounting, or so I was pre-med for 3.5 years before I changed to business. And like those classes were tough. And if it was like, well, I have a fixed mindset, like I'm not smart enough to do these things, I would have failed. But it was like, all right, well, there's a lot to learn. I don't know any of this, but I have to embrace this mindset of, well, like, how do I develop systems? How do I put in work? What do I need to do to make sure that I'm growing these things rather than having the mindset of like, well, I can't accomplish that. And because if that's the mindset, it's like, oh, I'm only this intelligent or I'm only capable of learning this much. I wanted to pass those classes because I would have stopped, I would have given up, and I would have never taken it to the next level.
Exactly.
But by realizing and being confident in myself and developing those systems, like waking up early, being by myself, like crazy highlighter things to create study guides and all that stuff, like by developing those systems and knowing that by doing that I was going to be successful, I was able to be successful, and I ended up switching to business because I was better at it. But
I know what you're good at.
I crushed those classes because I believed in myself. And I think that's the foundation of the fixed versus growth mindset. The foundation of the growth mindset is that you believe in yourself and that you're going to be like, all right, well, whatever this takes to get me to my goal, I'm going to do that thing. And maybe that pathway is not clear today, but you're spending the time looking for that pathway and pursuing that path to your goal and knowing that you can accomplish it whatever it takes. And you just do it and you grind and you just laser focus on that thing.
All right, let's talk about something really quickly, just because it just popped into my mind just now. So, because you just said you created those systems, right? How do you think? What's a for sure way to ensure that whatever system you build will still do its job, even if you get lazy? Because it's easy. I wake up. I have certain days I wake up and I'm just like, yeah, I'm not feeling it today. But because I have the accountability of some interns, I have the accountability of my friends, myself, my siblings, who keep me in check. What are you doing today, right? Just earlier, one of the interns texted me. She's like, hey, I'm working on this, but what are you doing today? Just last week or the week before, he texted me and he was like, what's the one thing you're doing to improve tempo this week? So what do you think is a for sure way to ensure that system will work even when you don't want to do the work?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of hinted at it, but you have to surround yourself with winners. People who are thinking the same way or similar ways as you are. I'm not saying like surround yourself with like-minded people who are homogeneous, but like surround yourself with people who are focused on winning because they're going to hold you accountable. Like I want Paul to be is successful just as much as I want myself to be successful. And so I send those text messages to Paul and be like, "What are you doing to be successful?" I don't know what he's been doing that day. And like, if you have 10 of those people, you have 20 people, you have that tribe around you that's like pushing you to be successful. We saw this past weekend with SSPT Live, like whatever 250 or what, I don't know how many people were there.
220, 30,
like,
40.
There's now that many people who are accountable, who you are accountable to. Right. Maybe some of those more in detail or in depth.
Right.
But like having that is the foundation of success. Like, because you're gonna have those days that you're not gonna get as much done, and that's fine. Like, you can't. And another thing, like, don't beat yourself up that you didn't get 1,000 things done today. I think there's a saying like, we overestimate what we can get done in a day, but we underestimate what we can get done in a year. Like, every day my to-do list is longer than I get done.
Right. I mean, I made a to-do list today, and I've only accomplished, 3 of the 6 things on there. But that's just things that I know if I didn't get it done today, I'm going to get it done tomorrow. Joseph is one of the greatest pilots on earth. But he's like, all right, getting his CFI certificate, there's a lot of knowledge that has to be compressed, and then he has to learn how to teach it. He took a whole semester but passed his initial check ride on the first day, which is a 50-50 chance because it's so difficult. And then he just finished renewing it for another 2 years. That right there, growth mindset. He already knows how to fly. He's a very capable pilot. I can account for that. I can attest to that. You know, he took me up in the air and I came back alive. So he's a very capable pilot. But even still, he has to go to the next level to not only learn what he has to learn, but now he has to be able to teach it. Because that ensures, 1, he knows what he's doing. 2, he knows what he learned. And then every 2 years, if he has to continue to renew it, he's just going like to that. And knowing Joseph, he probably learned it. And if we asked him to right now to give us like a 5 SparkNote version of how to teach it, he could. Because he's got that mindset of, I need to make sure that I'm so ahead of the game that at a moment's notice, I can do more than what's expected.
I think piloting is actually a really good example because, like you're literally forcing yourself. Like, the first time you fly solo, like, you're literally, like, you've never done that before, and you're literally projecting yourself into the sky and float and being, like, lifted, and you're in control of that. And no one else other than you. But you've never done that before. I mean, you've done it with someone next to you, but, like, flying solo, you're doing it for the first time. And you have to believe in, like, well, I've never done this thing by myself before without like backups, but you like, I can do that, and then it's like, well, then I can do the next thing, and then it's flying fighter jets the next 3 years later.
That's something amazing.
Yeah.
In addition to that, I'm trying to think of like, all right, so here's an example. So over at SSPT, first of all, everybody was amazing. GT, you're the man. But I watched something magical happen. So everybody that's doing their job is basically, from what I was gathering, is through PT school, they teach you to be a fantastic clinician and do your job, be a physical therapist. And that's about nothing else. So what SSPT accomplished was taking you from that functionality box to an even bigger reality. I need to copyright that. But taking you just from where you are to where you could be, or an even better example, you today versus who you could be 10 years. One of the questions I always ask somebody when I meet them is, if you could go into the future right now and tell your future self 5, 10 years from now, what's one thing you need to focus on so that who you are, who Cody is in 10 years, who Paul is in 10 years, is much better, is more efficient, is more amazing? What would that one thing be? All right, so for me, if I was to go 10 years from now, I'd probably be like, do not give up on what you're working on. Simple. I mean, that sounds so vague, but there's a reason behind it. I'm the type to, like, I only do things I want to do, and I only do them until, like, I'll do them until I'm done, and then that's it, like, I'll drop it. So me saying that to myself would be like, you just need to push it past what you normally want to do. How about you?
I'm asking the question, 10 years?
Yeah, 10 years from now, what would you tell Cody?
What would I tell myself?
Yeah.
Like, man, you're still just starting.
Well, here's
Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like being in my 20s.
yeah,
Like, there's this, and people even younger than that, it's like, why am I not the CEO? Like, and I think it's like, and while that ambition is good, and I have part of a company
yeah,
and other things that I own or am like in charge of.
I mean, you're in
What-
charge of it.
But like I have so many more years
Mhm.
of great things ahead of myself
Yeah,
that it's like, I think 10 years from now I'll be like, man, like I'm only in my 30s. Like, keep doing all the things that you've been doing and then some. Like, you're better than you were then, and you still
Yeah.
have so much potential to grow.
let me ask you a question. It's actually kind of reflective of what you asked me last week. So, today, what's the one thing you know you have to work on today to push yourself past who you are? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think for me, one of the things that I struggle with, just in general, is perfectionism. Like, I have a really high standard, and like even doing stuff like this, or like doing the podcast
Mhm.
that Joshua and I do. Like the last 2 podcast episodes have not been great
Okay.
in terms of production quality. I mean, they're good content-wise.
Yeah.
They're good, but like when I listen, like I go and listen to podcasts every day, and it's not like that. And for me, I have this tendency to want to not do the thing
Okay.
because I'm scared of not being perfect. And so I have to fight with myself every day to be like, well, how do you become perfect? Well, you have to practice and always grow to that perfect level, or as
Okay.
best you can. Like, I don't think you ever achieve
Yeah.
perfection, but like you have to do to grow. And
Practice
like,
makes perfect. Like, simple
Perfect
as that. I
practice.
mean, that's like, what were we talking about? Alex was talking about it in that live he did last night, and then he also talked about it over the weekend. Imperfect action will always beat out perfect in action.
yeah.
Simple as that. It's just all about,
Well,
Okay.
to get in it though, it's
Okay,
like
okay.
there's a subtle nuance to that I think people overlook. Like,
Mhm.
it's not just practice. Like,
Yeah.
why growth mindset is important is like you could do like there's people who do the same things and they're trying to do things, but they do
Right.
the same thing at the same level for 20 years.
oh, okay.
So like you have to
Alright.
be in this growth mindset. Like, how am I learning and how am I getting better at this every time? Like, how is this podcast that we put out better than the one we put out
Right.
last week, and how is the one we're gonna put out next
Freaking better
than the one before that, and the next one, the next one, the next
Simple.
one, forever.
It's almost like when you're weight training. Nobody goes into the gym and pumps 45s for a year straight.
Yeah.
You know, or you're running. Nobody wants to run a marathon, but then only runs like 4 miles every day and thinks they're going to run all 26
Yeah.
point whatever.
Then you're a 4-miler.
Exactly, you're a 4 miler. You're not a marathoner.
Yeah, and you're
So-
always gonna be that unless you push yourself.
Unless you
to do
push
more.
yourself. So with that growth mindset, definitely, you have to, just like your weight training, just like you're running, just like you're building an engine or something like that, you have to be willing to go farther than you did before. And Joseph said something that resonated with me. So I think one of the biggest things that holds people back from achieving or adopting the growth mindset is fear of failure, right?
Yeah.
But with failure, failure is so good because every time you do something and every time you fail, as long as you don't do it and like through insanity and you do the same thing, right? So every time you fail at something, Thomas Edison, perfect example, you go farther and farther. So really, through that growth mindset can happen through that failure, just because each time you're learning something new, which can make your next endeavor better. I mean, that man made how many light bulbs?
I know. And I know
Hundreds.
his quote is like, I learned 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb. And
And all he needed was one, but he needed those 1,000.
yeah, well, like right now there's this glorification of like startups in the world
Yeah.
through like billions of dollars in valuations.
Yeah.
But I mean, for a large part of their early stage of the company, their job is getting said no to.
Right.
Like, they go and they pitch to venture capitalists, and 99% of the time they hear no. So they fail,
Right.
but they refine their pitch. They learn more about their company because they're getting feedback. Because there's investors that are telling them, like, no, I in your business model, I don't see this working out, or like you should change this.
Yeah.
And so they take that feedback where it's useful and they apply it. But it's that one yes that's going to lead them to, you know, maybe it's $1 million, maybe it's $25,000. But it's that one, like, if you get yes or no 2,500 times and you get yes once, and that gets you to the next yes and the next yes and yes next yes, that's a win. Even though the majority of the time it's been a failure, you just need that one win.
It definitely reminds me. Yeah, you just need that one, then you go next level. It reminds me, like, so something that could be simple, right? And then I'm just going to do a quick call to action here. I just did it. So, well, no, not the call to action. What I was going to talk about.
Oh.
So I remember doing my very first Facebook Live, and I think I tried to study the art of the live video. From like try to be perfect about it, try to make sure that I wasn't stumbling over my words, try to make sure that I was sitting still, try to make sure that I was in the perfect light. I don't know what video number this is, but I just no longer care about those things. If I stumble, I stumble. If the lighting is horrible, the lighting is horrible. But the thing is, because I was able to overcome those fears, those tiny things, and consistently doing these live videos, it's become so natural. So here's my quick call to action, because I know there's people watching this video that have never done a live video before. I watched the craziest thing where I watched 200 plus people do their first live video Monday. Today's Wednesday. Monday. Right? I watched 200 plus people do their first live video on Monday. So here's what I'm going to challenge people to do. Right? And comment below if you're going to do it. Even if you're not, still comment below. But 60 seconds. Take 60 seconds out of your day. Right? Just 60. Right? 30 times 2. 60 times 1. And quick maths. And just come up with like two points, right? A topic and a quick 2 points, and do a quick 60-second live video. The purpose of that is it pushes you out of your comfort zone. Live videos are not easy, right? At first. Eventually, I think they become easier.
I mean, they're always weird.
They're always weird. I mean, it's weird. Like, we're talking into a screen, and we have no idea who's looking back at us.
Yeah.
And it's just like, we could be talking to ourselves, we could be talking to a lot of people, who knows? But you get comfortable with it. But I challenge y'all to try it. Just do a 60-second live video about anything. It could be about puppies, you know, your hate for cats, lighting, the sun, water, you know, Florida, tornadoes, I don't know. Whatever you want it to be. But do it and then tag me in it so I can see it, 1. True. And 2, just for your own benefit, so you can be even more amazing. But that's all I got, man. You got anything to add to that?
I'm gonna leave with a quote.
Yeah.
Fail in the pursuit of perfection.
Boom. Fail in the pursuit of perfection.
It's interesting.
Let that mean what you want it to mean. Fail in the pursuit of perfection.
I mean, like, you have to pursue perfection.
Just shoot for Jupiter in the process where you land on the moon. Let that make sense.
But all right, I'm gonna pack it now. I feel like I have to justify myself.
Okay.
Like, if you're failing for the sake of failing, like, then you're just going, like, then you're gonna lose. Like, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But if you're pursuing perfection, and you fail, you're gonna be that next step towards perfection, and the next step, and then you're really embracing the growth mindset, because you're failing towards a goal. If that, like, you're pursuing a purpose, and knowing that you're going to not achieve everything the first time, you're failing towards, like, knowing that you're going to grow and always shooting for better.
That's all it is. It's just like if you're taking an exam, right, and you're studying for it. The exam is the final. You know what? Here's a perfect example. Just a perfect example. Using exams. You take like an exit exam, right? That's supposed to test everything you learned. Along the way, you've probably sucked to some tests. You've probably sucked to some quizzes. You've probably lost and missed a couple of classes, right? But through those failures, you pick up what you need to pick to pass that exit exam.
Well, here's another great example of that. So, like, in my biology class, my professor...
Oh, that was a pain. That class.
I was like, man,
No,
you're just gonna
no, no,
shoot
no.
down my thought.
No. That class was the bane, man.
True.
Foundations of Bio, the bane of my
Yeah.
existence.
That was my life
Whew,
freshman year.
hated it.
But like my professor, instead of just saying like, all right, you got 60% in your test. I never got 60%. Maybe I did. All right. But like instead of being like, all right, you got 60% in your test, and that's all you see, it shows up on your online learning thing. It's like, cool, like that doesn't mean anything to me. He's like, all right, look at these questions that you got wrong, and if you think that you're right, challenge me, and we'll see. And those, like, there are a few things, and I can't recall a specific example right now, but like those are the things that I remember more than anything else that I studied and knew. The things that when I failed, got it wrong, and then had to figure out why I was wrong, I retained that so much more, and I think the same thing applies.
That's a fantastic study method too, by the way.
Yeah, like, and it's the same, like getting feedback, like that, and that's really the foundation of it. Like you're failing, you get feedback, and you're growing, and like that's a hard thing to do. Like me, relatively young in my career, like having to be like, all right, well, how do you think that I'm doing, person that I've just worked with for 2 weeks, or that I just did this major project? Like, do I suck? Do I need to do better? Like, but if I don't do that, and I think I'm great, but everyone else thinks I'm terrible, I'm not growing because I don't see those areas for like where I'm actually failing. So it's just like this: you're embracing your failure, getting feedback, and striving to be the best version of yourself.
Absolutely.
So I think I just tied in 2 points together.
No, that's fantastic. Jason, what's up, bro? See, that's another part. I used to be so nervous about just stopping videos to just shout people out. It's normal now. But Jason, what's good, man? What do you think, bro? Just in that failure.
I hate. So this is a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? Like, this is the worst emoji.
The hand.
Like, no one does this. Hello.
Jason, put like 13 hands so we can know you're waving. Anyway, so what do you think? Jason, what systems have you placed so that you could be able to, maneuver through your fix to growth mindset? We got to chat a little bit, and first of all, game changer. But what are things that you do to get yourself in a growth mindset so that you push yourself past what you normally are capable of? You get what I mean? I don't know if I have anything else to share other than that.
Okay. I justified my quote.
He's justified his quote: "Fail as you
pursue
perfection, and lift as you rise." Be the best version of you, and then some. More, be more.
Surround yourself
with a tribe. That's so important. And you know what? We don't have time to do another video about the importance of the people you surround yourself with, your superstar team, all right, the legends around you. Oh, there we go. He said, I failed so many times and overcome. Why should I still failure, right? Exactly, dude. But through your failure, guess what happened? You became Dr. Jason Wright.
Yeah. Well, it's because you knew you had a goal.
Yeah.
And like you were pursuing that goal, and even though you failed, it's not fixed where it's like, oh well, I guess I'm not capable because I failed. It's like, all right, well, this didn't work.
Boom.
So I'm going to do something different.
There we go.
And pivot and get to that goal regardless of what it takes. Like that's what a failure is. It's like it's either in your fixed mindset, it's a cliff that you fall off and you're dead.
Exactly.
But in the growth mindset, it's just like this. It's an opportunity. Like you just pivot around it and you're like, oh, cool. That's a different perspective than I had seen before, and now I'm better off than I was. And you achieve your goal still. So
I'm gonna finish off with another quote. He said, "Fall in love with failure." Gary V. He's a Gary V fan right here. This man. Go get it. Go get it. As he's going. So, fall in love with failure. That's so important. That's so important because look at this nerds, man. Look at this guy. Just because. All right, you know what? I'm gonna give an example. Of
Ready?
All right, he's put on his Gary V shirt.
Hashtag first in line.
Hashtag first in line. Is that what that means?
This
I don't know what that means.
You'll understand.
All right, okay. I don't get it. I'm not hip. But falling in love with failure. You know, we're gonna talk about that a little bit. I don't care that we're running long. I just know I don't give a damn anymore. Falling in love with failure is so important. I think that could be one of, like, if you're gonna send off your kid to college, that could be one of the life lessons. If you're gonna have an athlete train for something, that could be one of the most important things. If you're gonna have a kid, if you're gonna have somebody just do anything, relationship, socially, mentally, spiritually, falling in love with failure could easily be the most important piece of advice one could get.
Yeah.
I mean, right up there with drink water.
Well, it's hard though in like school, especially because like the system is set up like to incentivize you. Like A is not the average, or it's not supposed to be the average. Like
Yeah.
A is the exceptional, but like the educational system is set up in a way that like trains you and reinforces the thing that everyone should get A's, and that's the only way to be successful.
Yeah.
And that's not true.
You know,
it's hard because in like that's what some society looks towards.
right.
But like I don't. I'm
You know
doing
what
my
we're talking
MBA
about.
right now,
Yeah.
and like my GPA is fine.
Yeah.
But I stopped concerning myself about grades and concerned myself about learning.
Boom. Look what Jason just said. He said his GPA was trash. Hey, but Jason, did you make it? Did you succeed? Did you become the doctor you thought you wanted to be? The answer is yes. But he's going to bring it up, but the answer is yes. I completely agree. Just especially with the education system, so many things are built towards. There we go. He freaking killed it because he's that
Boom.
guy. So many things are geared towards just like memorizing all these things that will give you an A, and less about teaching you the things you need to go beyond. Right? Somebody's going in with the likes.
I do too. I need to I'm in.
But like moving you past just memorizing, but then just, being more. I don't know how else to say that, dude. That is, you know what? That's the single most important piece of advice I give anybody.
Well, it's thinking about mindset rather than knowledge, like wisdom
Right.
versus knowledge. Like you can memorize, like the tomato is a fruit,
Mm-hmm.
but if you're not wise, you're like, all right, I'm gonna make a fruit salad. I'm gonna put a tomato in it because it's a fruit.
Tomatoes are disgusting.
But
sorry.
when you're wise, you know the fact that a tomato is a fruit, but you don't put it in a fruit salad because you understand that. And like that's the same thing as like you have to understand that like mindset is more important than knowledge. Knowledge comes with mindset, but like if you're first thinking right, you'll then learn the things that you need to know about, and you'll learn those things. So
First of all, Joseph, you're a G for quoting MJ, the GOAT. Well, arguably the second GOAT. Anyway, for those who don't think LeBron's the GOAT, go somewhere. But Michael Jordan said it. He's missed more than 9,000 shots in his career, and he's lost 300 games 26 times. He's been trusted to take the game-winning shot, and he missed. He's failed over and over again, and that's why he succeeds.
it's like the Houston Rockets.
Just like the Houston Rockets, live by the three, die by the three.
This
But
got really basketball-y really
yeah,
quick.
it got super basketball. But let's bring it back. Seriously, failure is your best teacher. Failure is your best experience. Failure is what's gonna take you from the freaking fixed mindset to the growth. Well, one of the things anyway. Anybody else got some comments they want to add in there? That is one of the best quotes ever. Here's an amazing quote. Here's an amazing quote by a resident motivator, Gregory Todd. Or Greg Todd. I'm sorry, GT. I didn't mean to call you by your full name. But what did he say? I'm glad.
Change your life.
There you go. Thank you. So somebody just liked a status that he said a long time ago. But change your habits, change your life. What does that mean? If you want to go from that fix to growth, you have to change what? Like I told him the story, your mindset, your habits, the things you're doing. Once you change those,
Yeah.
your life changes as a result, as a
Yeah.
byproduct. There's nothing more to add to that.
I mean, you touched on insanity earlier,
Mm-hmm.
and like my definition of this, like a lot of people will have like outlier goals or like above average goals, but then they repeat average behavior. And my definition of insanity is repeating average behavior and expecting outlier goals. or
Success is
outcomes.
hard, but being average is hard too, and it sucks. It's awful. Anyway,
Hi, Jason.
hey Jason,
We're done.
look,
Anyway, so
giant
You like-
fortune cookie. That was the weirdest thing, man. That like giant fortune. Anyway, we're digressing. We ate a giant fortune
yeah,
cookie.
sorry,
It was
Instagram was weird.
anyway, y'all. you have anything else you want to add to it?
Fail in the pursuit of perfection.
Boom. He's going to close it with that again. All right, y'all. We're done. There's nothing more to add. We'll probably be on here again. Who knows? Tomorrow. We'll see. No, we'll do it. We'll be here again tomorrow. But, yo, be y'all. Continue grinding. For those of y'all who, remember, do your Facebook live 60-second video. Tag me.
Was it 60 minutes?
Well, if it's 60 minutes, it's 60 minutes. This is probably 60 minutes at this rate.
True.
But, yo, this was a blast. Keep grinding. Keep being amazing. Keep being y'all. And just, freaking kill it.
Make
Let's
it happen.
go. Boom. We out.